Hi, it's Dan from dansbesttech.com. Almost 4 years after the release of the iPad Mini 4, Apple has finally released the iPad Mini 5. Is this latest iteration worth it? Short answer, yes. Stay tuned for the long answer. The cheapest iPad Mini 5 will set you back $400. The weight is 300 grams or 0.66 pounds for the Wi-Fi version and 308 grams or 0.68 pounds for the Wi-Fi plus cellular version. The dimensions are 8 inches by 5.3 inches by 0.24 inches, and it has a 7.9 inch display. It comes in 3 different colors: silver, space gray, and gold. It has a Touch ID fingerprint sensor, a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, 2.84 gigabytes of RAM, and 64 gigabytes of memory, which is upgradable to 256 gigabytes for $150 more. The iPad Mini 5 includes the A12 Bionic chip, which is much faster than the A8 chip in the iPad Mini 4 and the A7 chip in the iPad Mini 2 and 3. The A12 chip is the same chip that exists in the iPhone XS and iPhone XR. The iPad Mini 5 is the same size as the iPad Mini, the iPad Mini 2, the iPad Mini 3, and the iPad Mini 4 before it. It keeps the large top and bottom bezels, and it does not take after the new iPad Pro's design, which includes straight edges and slimmed bezels. That said, I like the thin bezels on the side and large bezels on the top and the bottom of the iPad Mini. The 5.3 inch wide by 8 inch tall iPad Mini 5 is the perfect size for people wanting a good grip on their iPad without excessive finger or thumb strain over time. Essentially, you can palm the iPad Mini 5 where you can't on the iPad Airs and iPad Pros. For me, I can palm it when in portrait mode, and I can use the large bezels on the tablet when holding it in landscape mode. Also, depending on the pants you're wearing, you could pocket the iPad Mini 5, but it is not ideal. The 7.9 inch screen has the same 2048 by 1536 resolution that exists in the iPad Mini 2, 3, and 4. That said, it is a new display. It now provides True Tone, wide color support, and is 25% brighter than the iPad Mini 4, so it is very readable outdoors. I prefer the smaller form factor screen. I like being able to touch the entire screen with my thumbs with a minimal effort. As I said before, in my opinion, the smaller screen and form factor creates a less exhausting and more ergonomic tablet. The iPad Mini 5 includes the same Lightning connector that exists in the previous iPad Minis. It does not support the much faster USB-C port for charging and data transfer that is included in last year's iPad Pros. Also, the iPad Mini 5 still includes a Touch ID home button, so it has no Face ID support. Do you prefer Face ID over Touch ID? I've personally never had a problem with Touch ID, so I don't know why Face ID was even invented other than a workaround for when Apple removed the home button to slim the bezels. Additionally, the iPad Mini 5 still has the 3.5mm headphone jack. You will not have to spend more money on specialized Lightning headphones or Bluetooth headphones if you don't want to. The 19.1 watt-hour battery causes the battery life to excel. The iPad Minis have never had poor battery life in the past, and Apple is claiming for this one 10 hours of surfing the web on Wi-Fi, watching video, or listening to music. There are no complaints from me. Let's talk about the Apple Pencil support. This is the first time Apple has brought the Pencil to their small tablets line, but there is a catch. Let's first talk, though, about what you get. The Apple Pencil dramatically improves the functionality of the iPad Mini. Rather than just a media consumption device, it becomes a note-taking machine as well. I love how the small form factor feels when writing on a notepad-sized tablet. I think this is a great solution for quick note-taking while standing or on the go. I really like it. For example, I'm a full-time product development engineer for a medical device company. Occasionally, I attend cadaver labs. In the past, I brought a small notepad to take notes, as a laptop and large tablet just weren't feasible in the lab. This last time, though, I brought the iPad Mini 5. It was small enough for me to hold in one hand and write in the other. Using the app Notability, the notes could easily be translated to text that could be uploaded to my computer later. Therefore, I didn't have to retype any of my notes, and as a cherry on top, the app recorded everything the surgeons were saying so I could add the notes later if I missed something. This experience was a game changer for me at work. How would you use the smaller iPad Mini with Apple Pencil support? All that said, there were some problems with the Apple Pencil. At first, I was struggling on the iPad being very small when using the pencil. When writing close to the edge of the screen for my notes, my palm would not be supported by the tablet and my handwriting suffered. The solution was to use OneNote and split screen where my palm was resting. Therefore, OneNote told me what to say, and Notability could let me take my notes with improved handwriting. The iPad mini 5 also regrettably only supports the first generation Apple Pencil, which rolls around very easily, charges in a weird way, is slippery to hold, and when not using it, there is no easy and convenient place to place it. Sadly, the unsupported second generation Apple Pencil for the 2018 iPad Pros solves each of these issues. If you want to use the Apple Pencil on the iPad mini 5, you won't get the second generation's magnetic attachment, wireless charging capability, matte texture, or flat edge to prevent rolling. You'll have to decide if the new ease of use features of the second generation Apple Pencil are worth it to you. Let me know what you think down in the comments. To me, I really wish there was a place to attach the pencil when I'm not using it. It rolls all over the place when I set it down. Now let's talk about the iPad mini's performance. The A12 chip is super fast, making the iPad mini 5 the fastest small tablet on the market. In Geekbench 4, it scored a multi-core score of 11,427, which matches the iPhone XS performance since they both have the same processor. The iPad Pro with the A12X chip is still more powerful with 18,000 Geekbench score, but you wouldn't be able to tell the difference on this small tablet. Everything is, shall I say, buttery smooth. That said, I'm upgrading from my iPad mini 3, which was smooth until I upgraded it to iOS 9. The iPad mini 5 has an 8 megapixel rear camera and a 7 megapixel front-facing camera. These cameras aren't great, but they are better than the 5 megapixel rear and 2 megapixel camera on the iPad mini 3 and the 8 megapixel rear and 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera on the iPad mini 4. Speaking of these previous iPads, let's do a side-by-side comparison. In this table, I compare the specs and key features of the various iPads. To sum up, if you want the best performing iPad mini with pencil support, I recommend the upgrade to the iPad mini 5. If you have the iPad mini 4, its performance isn't hurting you, and you don't need the Apple Pencil support, then you could stay on the iPad mini 4. The iPad mini 3 is unbearably unresponsive for me with the latest operating systems, so I highly recommend an upgrade. The iPad Air 2019 is great if you want a larger tablet that can pair with the Apple's Smart Keyboard without breaking the bank. The iPad Air 2018 is the cheapest new iPad on the market with Generation 1 Apple Pencil support, but no Apple Keyboard support. Finally, if you need the best performance and support for all of Apple's bells and whistles, then I recommend the 2018 iPad Pros. You'll just have to pay a premium for them. In conclusion, if you want the best performing small form factor iPad that includes Apple Pencil support, then the iPad mini 5 is for you. Just remember, it has large bezels, no USB-C port, no Face ID, no second generation Apple Pencil support, and no Apple Smart Keyboard support. Click like if you like this video, please subscribe if you want to see more, and check out dansbesttech.com for a full written review.